Bienvenidos. Welcome to the 47th annual convening of one of the most enriching experiences in our community, the celebration of diversity and traditions known as Tucson Meet Yourself. I am Supervisor Betty Villegas, and on behalf of the Pima County Board of Supervisors and all the residents of our beloved community, I am happy you can join us. Pima County is a mix of ancestral cultures with lifetime and longtime residents and our new arrivals, all sharing the air, the land, and the history of the beautiful Sonoran Desert. Lucky for us, we also share the foods, dances, music, manual arts, and rituals of dozens of different cultural communities and folk groups, all of which call Pima County home. Every year, Tucson Meet Yourself, sometimes referred to as TMY, is our community's shared big tent where we discover, respect, and celebrate each other. Congratulations and thank you, Tucson Meet Yourself organizers, for adapting this year's 2020 festival to the new public health precaution guidelines. This year, TMY has reframed the event to include a socially distanced virtual experience that offers each of us an opportunity to be connected while remaining safe. There is so much beauty, strength, and resilience in every one of our cultural traditions, and I encourage you to join us in support and celebration of them all. Please enjoy all the offerings, and remember, we will get through all the challenges because we are Pima County strong.
Welcome to this program, part of the 2020 edition of Tucson Meet Yourself Reframe. I want to take this moment to thank our sponsors. Without their generosity, none of these wonderful offerings would have been possible. First, our major sponsors: Pima County, the City of Tucson, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Arizona Commission on the Arts, the Arts Foundation for Tucson and Southern Arizona, and the University of Arizona College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, and the Southwest Center. In addition, I want to thank our presenting sponsors, businesses that stuck with us even in these difficult times. Thank you to Cox, Tucson Electric Power, Visit Tucson, Desert Diamond Casino, and Chicanos por la Causa. Enjoy the program.
Welcome from the traditional homelands of the Tohono O'odham Nation and the Pascua Yaqui tribe to the first Tucson Meet Yourself Reframed. Today's Tradition Tuesday panel discussion has been curated to honor and share traditional knowledge in our region, the Southwest, and the US-Mexico border corridor. Through the voices and experiences of traditional artists and community members, you'll learn about distinctive cultural expressions, how they are preserved, how they endure and thrive in everyday folk life. Today's discussion, we will learn from the Pascua Yaqui tradition bearers about how to make paper flowers and the meaning of these sacred objects to the Yaqui Yoeme people. I am deeply honored today to learn from two master traditional artists who have also been participants in Tucson Meet Yourself for generations.
Leo Sanchimaniago Getchamalea, Inepo Pascuala Valenzuela, Inepo 39 Pohuac, Intone Womamni Amawo Nike Wasukte, Ne Tohono O'odham Community College, Boino Matatebo. Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Pascuala Valenzuela and I'm the current Miss Pascua Yaqui 2020 to 2021. I come from the Barrio Libre community. I'm currently 18 years old and I attend Tohono O'odham Community College. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm very excited to be here.
All right. Yo soy Chivaniagu Kechamalea, Inapo LAYLALANAI GOCOBACHI Tea, Inapo 39th Barrio Libre Pohoac, Hello, everybody. My name is LAYLALANAI GOCOBACHI. I'm the current 2020 to 2021 Junior Miss Pascua Yaqui. I am honored to be here today, and yeah.
Okay, so now I will go into a definition of the sewa. Sewa means flower in our Yaqui language. In our culture, all flowers are beautiful and are sacred. The flower is a symbol of life as they reproduce, bear fruit, and continue the cycle of life. They remind us of our connection to the nature and the many blessings from our Creator. Today, we continue the tradition of making flowers to adorn our places of ceremony. The visual presence of the flowers gives us strength and is an important part of our culture. So now I will be going on to the questions. And the first question is for Miss Irene. How are flowers used in Yaqui life?
In Yaqui life, the way I learned it, it is used to balance, like when we when we make our flowers for our ceremonies, we make flowers for traditional gatherings, and like in funerals and lutos, which are annual anniversaries, weddings. There's flowers shown in your clothing that you wear, in the blouses, rebosos. The rebosos are the shawls and the skirts, also in men's handkerchiefs and shirts. And there are various ways that the traditional flowers are embroidered onto tablecloths. And we use those throughout the ceremonies. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And the same question for Miss Paula. How are flowers used in Yaqui life?
Like Irene said, they're used for ceremonies, for our men wear it in the hats for the ceremonies. It's an everyday thing. You'll see them in our shops. You'll see them in our churches. You'll see them in several places as to where our tribe goes. So that's one way of people knowing if there's a Yaqui person living there, because our flowers kind of give us away.
Yeah.
So moving on to the
Thank
next
you.
question is, who taught you how to make paper flowers? Miss Irene.
My Aunt Josie, she was my father's sister, and she's my godmother. So when I was about 6 years old, I would help her gather the paperwork, and my grandfather would cut the screens and fix the doors, and then we would cut the screens into squares, and my job was to take them apart and separate them by the dozen. And so my aunt would know how many flowers she was making, and we would make wreaths for the Day of the Dead, and we would make flowers for different ceremonies. So that's how I learned to make paper flowers.
All right. And then Miss Paula, who taught you how to make paper flowers?
My mother. My mother taught me when I was around 6. She would make them for the family for the Day of the Dead. We would make wreaths back then, and it was a lot. So I would help her, and that's how she showed me, because she would tell me, you know, you need to learn this so tradition can go on. That way, if someday I pass away, you can make some for me, for your dad, for, you know, whoever passes away. So that's how I learned. I got interested in my culture back then because of my mom. And plus, I love flowers. So everything I would do in drawing, murals, everything, it was always flowers. So I think it was meant for me to follow my mom's steps.
I'm very glad that your mother taught you that, and both of you, your elders taught you that. It's very important that we learn our traditions.
Yes, it is.
That you're continuing that and passing it on.
Yeah.
You.
And thank you guys, because you're willing to learn too. And you're representing us elders too. Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor. We're excited. We love going to events. We love representing the Yaqui people.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. The next question is for Miss Irene. What materials do you use to make the flowers?
Well, basically we use crepe paper, but I've used tissue, And we improvise sometimes with other things like egg cartons and just a variety of material to use to make the flowers. And we use tissue paper, crepe paper, a wire. We use glitter, and sometimes we use glue. So that's basic. And we used to curl the edges with scissors, and now we use pencils to hurry up the process.
Yeah, I personally learned that way too with the pencil. My tia taught me. She was just showing me how to roll it. So it is a little easy. Thank you. So same question for you, Miss Paula. What materials do you use to make flowers?
Basically what Irene said, we use the paper, the scissors, you need a pencil, you need glue. In my case, we use glue because we use petal by petal. And we need the wire, the floral wire. So it's mainly basic stuff that I use. Sometimes I'll make flowers out of anything, like leaves, rubber tree plant leaves. I'll use like the palma and I'll make roses out of that. And I usually give those out to friends that are in the ceremonies as a form of blessing, because the palmas, you know, the palm is already, it's blessed and everything. So I hand them out to the guys that are in there, because they'll ask me, you know, can I have one? They'll see my bouquet and it's like, can I have one? So I can't say no. And I end up just giving it away. Yo Sanchaniavo, Inepo Paula YUCUPICIO Teac. Hi, my name is Paula YUCUPICIO. Today we're making the traditional yaqui flower. You're gonna cut about 8 to 9 inches straight across. Fold it. And you cut the pattern somewhat like a half moon. Here is your pattern. You get your petal, you get your pencil, twist it on there, push it together, turn it around with the curly side out, and you push your paper out. And there you have your petal. Next, you're gonna cut your leaf. Also, like maybe 5 inches. And you're gonna do the same as to when you hold it. Put it together. You can cut your leaf whatever pattern you want, wide or thin. You can cut little portions of it off. It's up to you. It's your flower. And here you have your leaf. You can make little designs by just cutting your edges. Now you get your floral wire, maybe about 8 inches, 9 inches. You're gonna fold the top into a little loop. You get your petal. The glue goes on the other side, the opposite side of your curly side, the part. You're gonna put 3 stripes of glue. You put it on the floral wire, push it together, and twist. So you get your other petal and continue. And you just continue till you have a full flower. Okay, at this point, it's up to you if you want to keep going more and more. Then goes your leaf, and this goes on the same way. 3 stripes of glue, and then it goes on the same way upward. It's up to you if you want to put 2 leaves or 1. So as you can see, there's the flower. Now we're going to cover the stem. Just cut off a piece of green. You're going to put glue in the front, and then you're wrapping it around the stem and just turning till you get to the bottom. And then you're simply cutting it off. You don't have to use scissors or anything. And there you go.
Thank you.
All right, so for the next question is, where do you get the materials for the flower? Miss Irene.
Well, I have a very dear friend that travels to Mexico, and he brings me from Agua Prieta, Nogales, Obregón, any of the Hermosillo. But there are some locations here in Tucson that we frequent when we can't find what we need. There's about 3 places in the Tucson area that I know of.
What are the names of those places?
Okay, United Market, Rosas Arts and Crafts, and Coyotes down on Ajo Road.
And then the same question for you, Paula, is where do you get the materials for the
I would usually go to where Irene mentioned, the 3 places, the 3 little shops. That's located down on the south side of Tucson. I'm assuming because of, you know, how the border is closed, so it's easier to get the paper that way. But sometimes I'm very lucky that the department here will give us materials and stuff, you know, after we do the Tucson Meet Yourself. You know, we're lucky to have this department that sometimes they will go for us and get us the papers and the materials. So in that sense, yes. And then you can go on eBay. eBay has it. And I recently found out that Party City has been having the crepe paper, but it's the Penguin. There's different brands that come, the paper is thicker than others. So the Penguin brand is kind of not too coarse, the paper. And the other ones are, you know, it comes in different levels. So it's from real thin to thick. So it depends on your flower if you want it to stand up or to kind of lean or so. But yeah, you can find it in the eBay or like Irene said, the shops on the south side.
All right, thank you.
How have the flowers changed over the years, Miss Irene?
When I first moved here to New Pascua, it was fairly new, and back in 1982. And I remember Anselmo Valencia asked my friend and I if we would make flowers for the church and the ceremonies because hardly anyone was doing that. So I had an open house in my home and that's how I met people, that I would set everything up at the table. And everybody would say, gosh, your floor looks so beautiful. It's all sparkly. Well, everybody loved to put the glitter on them. So that's how I ended up making flowers and showing and doing demonstrations. So it was open to the community to come and help us to make the flowers. So over the years, I do, like when we would travel to conferences, and I would see that there was making flowers at some areas, and I would go and I would learn the new flower, and then I would show them a flower. So that's how I learned to trade off different styles. So I ended up learning up to now, about 27 different styles of flowers. But my favorite, I have about 5 different ways to make roses. Those are my favorite.
Wow, that's amazing. That's cool that throughout your experience and your years of doing it, that you're able to, better it and make it even more diverse. So it's really great. Good for you. Same question for Miss Paula. How have the flowers changed over the years?
To me, how I learned with my mom in the beginning, uh, it was funny because now we have all this recent material. Back then, for the wreath, we would use a wire hanger. That's what we would use for the wreath. And then the glue itself was made out of flour. So it was, you know how messy flour is, kind of like doing paper mache and a piñata. In that sense, that's how we would use it, because glue back then was pretty expensive. So my mom started doing it with the flour. But it would dry how it would, it would get hard and dry, but you would see the white in the flour. So that's when, to me, that's how it changed, because now we have the floral wire, now we have the floral tape, now we have like dozens of colors, beautiful colors that we get now. Before it was the basics like pastels and then your blues, yellows, but that was it. No other color in between. So we're very lucky that the people now that make that paper, we have a variety of stuff and textures that we can do different kinds of flowers, small or big, or, the biggest you can see, we can make them. So we're very lucky in that sense that it's upgraded from, now we use glue to the flower glue. So that's, in one sense, I grew up doing that, the wreaths, like very old school.
That's amazing. It's so cool, like, to see that, especially us Yaqui people, we use what we have,
Yes.
There's a will, there's a way. We always make a way,
Yes.
We set our mind to it, we create a way to do it with our resources we have. That's amazing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
So moving on to the next question, it is, how many different types of flowers do the Yaqui people use, Miss Irene?
Well, as far as basically is the rose, but I'm glad that Paula mentioned the different variety of ways that we had learned. My aunt, instead of glue, she would tie them with a nylon thread so the petals wouldn't fall apart. And you're right, it was the hangers, the wire hangers, but they would put newspaper and then shred the sheets, the old sheets, and fold them like bias tape and then wrap it around the wreath. And then they would put the flowers on there. But the flowers were waxed. And when I was a little girl, I learned what a double boiler was. It's because she would make the flour and then dip it. And so it would last longer. So that's some of the things that I see that were, that I remember when Paula was saying the different ways and how we used to use like the flour and hot water to make it sticky. It's things evolve and makes life be easier when we work. So I'm glad that you're learning new things. This is a demonstration of a daisy. So you cut your pattern and leave it folded as you cut a quarter sheet. Then you cut it into this so you can create this, this design. And then for the center, you're gonna cut a square. And then we're gonna need, you're gonna roll this into a ball like this. And you're gonna put it in the middle. And make a little ball. And then you tap it. And it goes flat. And then with this one, we'll put a wire so we don't lose that center. And this one we need a little glue. And we're going to leave this so you can not take too long to work with this. And we're just going to be pleating, gently pleat. pleat is you pull back on it. And that's one of your fastest flowers you can design. And then here, again, blue here. And pull, so it'll be tight. You wind down a little bit on this stem, since it's going to be a little thicker. Okay, you're going to take a piece of this paper. Cover up your stem. You hold it at a 45-degree angle here at the bottom, and all you do is spin. Oops, leaves. Leaves go in between. You're going to pleat it so it won't fall back. Very little glue. Pull, fold. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this demonstration of our traditional flower making, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.
So, Miss Paula, same question. How many different types of flowers do the Yaqui people use?
Basically, the yaqui flower is a rose, so that's why you guys have it in your dressings. I have it in my shirt because it's mainly a rose. I don't know if you've heard, but there's different stories as to when God was bleeding, the first drop flowers came out. Stuff like that, different people say different things, but that's how we use it. It's a form of blessing for all of us. So yeah, there's different types, especially for ceremonies. You can make different, like with little like carnations or stuff like that. It's amazing how many flowers a person can make with paper. And paper is flimsy that you can fix it if it breaks. You can fix it if it's crushed. You can redo it all over again because it's paper. So when people say, oh, I messed it up, and it's like, you can't mess it up because you can always fix it. And like I said, we're lucky we have that type of paper where we can fix it. But yes, we use different types of flowers. I just do the traditional rose, and Irene does the different types of flowers. But yes, we use different. It's always different. So there's one thing that we can't say no to because it's flowers. People love flowers.
And as you mentioned, how people would say they messed it up, what I love about the paper flowers is there's no such thing as an ugly flower. They all have a very powerful meaning and are all very beautiful.
Yes, that's what I tell the people at the Tucson Meet Yourself, because sometimes there'll be people that, oh, I don't like it because I messed it up. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me see. And then we'll fix it, or we'll show them how to fix it. And they're like, oh, it's pretty again. And I'm like, yes, it's paper.
Yeah.
And I usually tell them that the flowers are like people, they're all different. And sometimes they just need a little attitude adjustment. So when you have to fix them up.
Thank you. So next question is for Miss Irene. What is your favorite type of flower or color of roses?
My favorite is always the red rose or the white one. And I learned to use like watercolors and do the edges or food coloring. and design them and make them rainbow colors. So sometimes I make rainbow colors with all the leftover petals that I have, and people just love the rainbow flowers. It shows the different kind of flowers that we make with the leftovers. Greetings from the Pascua Yaqui tribe. My name is Irene Sanchez, and I'm a traditional flower maker. I'm one of the elders here, and I'm glad to be here today with you. Today we'll be looking at making a rose, and this is crepe paper. This is the way it comes in a sheet, and in order to get a rose about this size, then we would divide this crepe paper into fourths, and you would just fold it over and cut, and then cut another half. You take 4 pieces out of a sheet. And then from here, we're going to aim towards the middle of this paper and do an arch, and then turn the paper, flip it around, and do the other side. And this middle is your center of the flower since it's a smaller piece. Again, you arch, and then you do another arch. And then we're going to get some leaves ready. Again, it's a fourth of the paper. This is green, folded in half to make the leaves. Again, you aim towards the middle here. You're going to cut on an angle and then back up. And then we need these pieces to cover the stem. And those we start off on the edge about 1 inch to make the flower. Then we need a pencil. You're going to need some wire. So we start with the small ones, and we take a couple pieces and curl them on the pencil. Push. You'll need about 12 to 15 pieces of the paper here. So these are the beginning ones, a smaller piece. The larger pieces go on the outside. If you want your flower to look soft and gentle, after you do the crunch here, you're going to be folding this and pushing back. This is the grain, and this is the opposite grain, so it won't stretch this way, so you have to make sure that you have the grain on the right pattern here. You start off with 2, and you curl it a little bit and turn. Give yourself about 1 inch so you can hold on to that. Place the next one. The other one is opposite. Your center. Then you'll see that V is the middle of the next one. Again, there's like a little V in here. That's the middle of the next one. These are the smaller pieces. And you can do another round if you'd like. If you want it to look soft, gently pull with your fingers. And you can also put a little twist in it, like this, and it'll give it like a little star effect. Then you take your leaves. I use 3. Fold it a little bit so it won't fall back. You leave a little pleat in here. Take the wire, do like a number 7, like this, and hold it, and above your fingers roll and pull. And then you're going to bring it down as long as you want the stem. You're going to take this paper, hide it here, very tight grip, start spinning. You just hold it in a 45-degree angle here, and it'll just go down by itself there. When you get to the end, just clip it there and fold this up so it'll hold it. And there's your flower.
Next question for Miss Paula, same one. What is your favorite type of flowers or color of roses?
My favorite has always been a rose, and I've always liked the color coral, the one that's, you know, between orange and a little red. And I've always liked that color. I don't know why. It's bright, it's pretty, you know, it's a bright color. That's what I like. I like different, you know, different colors, I guess you can say, but mainly the coral.
Oh yeah, I love bright colors too as well, especially in our dresses. Oh, it's just so amazing. They're really eye-catching.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the next question is, how do you feel when you see the younger people passing on these traditions? Miss Irene.
Oh, I'm so very proud of you people for even beginning that. And it's taken many years here on the Pascua Reservation to see that so many different styles and that the young people are with the elders. They come like to the Yoeme, and I help the community by being there. And to see that they are interested in learning, and they also, the young people, create new styles. So we learn from each other. And I really enjoy that, that the young people are still interested in the language and traditions. And so I'm very proud of the young people that want to do that and the families that continue that, in that tradition.
All right, so the same question for Miss Paula is, how do you feel when you see the younger people passing on these traditions?
The tradition, like I said, I'm very proud of you guys, very proud. You're not only learning our tradition, but you're also continuing in school, you know, stuff that the elders couldn't do at one point. It was very hard to go to school back then. But, you know, it's good to see that young people want to follow us, because it's not for everybody. Some people don't want it, or some people, you know, it's like they don't want to learn. But when I see, you know, like teenagers like you guys and stuff, it makes me feel proud, because you're representing us, and then we as an elder generation, we're representing you two for the future. But yes, I'm very proud of you guys, especially if you guys continue it too and teach your children someday and continue it how I'm doing. Like my mother started, and then she told me that I needed to follow after her. And then she told my daughter. So hopefully my daughter's going to continue too. So we're waiting for her now. But yes, I'm very proud of you guys.
Thank you. It's so amazing, especially me being a youth. It's very amazing to become involved in the community, because then you get to meet a ton of people, and you get to learn, you know, how they were grown up and how they learned how to do traditions. It's amazing to, you know, learn their different types of ways they do it, you know.
Yes.
I'm so glad that we have you teaching us and guiding us and allowing us to learn your ways of doing and your traditions, how you were taught. I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Very heartwarming when I remember I was younger, like at the age of 4 or 3, they started teaching me how to make flowers for traditions and ceremonies. They would sit me down and tell me the meaning about it, the history, why we wear them all the time, what they mean. And it's just a very good memory that I carry with me, to be around all these people with so much knowledge and love for their culture. It was just very heartwarming to get to know more about it.
Thank you. If you could tell the younger generation why they should learn to make flowers, what would you say to them? Miss Irene, sorry.
Oh, well, I thank you again for your beautiful way of being. And I'm so proud of you guys that, you know, I realize that I'm on my 5th generation in doing this. So I do have my daughter, her daughter, their daughter, and then going on my 5th generation of being able to continue this. And that includes my community. I've always included my community in what we learn. And like I said, we have an open house and we're there for when everybody that needs us, whether it be a funeral or a celebration or a gathering, that I can still be there for them, you know. And that one day they don't need me. They already know how to do these things without me. So it makes me very proud. Mm.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Same question for Miss Paula. If you could tell the younger generation why they should learn to make flowers, what would you say to them?
I would tell them to try it, especially if it's a guy, because sometimes boys don't or guys don't want to do it. They think it's a girl thing. And it's not a girl thing. It's about love. It's about God. It's about our culture. That's what it's about. So, you know, I think that I would kind of challenge the guys to see if they can do it, because sometimes it's like they'll be like, oh, it's so easy. And I'd be like, okay, you try it. See what it does to you. See how you do it. So sometimes we got to challenge a little bit, and so they can try it, because sometimes they won't if you're not being open to them. So yeah, I would tell them, you know, you need to learn, because that way you can teach your daughter. If you ever have a daughter, you can teach her our ways and tell her what it means or why we use the rose, you know, stuff like that, because the man also has to learn if he's going to have a daughter. So I think I would tell the younger generation, you know, you need to start now if you want to learn a little more as you're getting bigger, you know, because it's going to be hard if you don't know nothing now and then try to catch up on it. So yeah, I think that's what I would tell the younger generation, you know, that it's about love and God and us being together. That's what it's about. So yeah, I think I would challenge especially the boys, because you know they think it's a girl thing.
Yeah, gotta teach them all. Teach every young person. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, ladies. I'm so grateful for your answers, and it's very eye-opening. It's very exciting, making me want to make a flower right now. So thank you so much for allowing us to ask you these questions and facilitate this. So I believe that is all of our questions for today. So thank you so much, and hope you continue having a great day.
Thank you.
Wow, what an experience that we just had together, to
Yeah.
listen and learn intergenerationally from elders and from the next generation, all right here in our local community. What I'd like to invite our audiences to do is to know that this conversation is happening today on Tradition Tuesdays, but can also be shared for many days and years to come. We are deeply, deeply honored to have this traditional knowledge in our communities, to have our local tribe participating and blessing our first ever digital festival with this conversation. So I encourage you all to go to www.tucsonmeetyourself.org to learn about more programs that are happening here at Tucson Meet Yourself, our first ever digital festival, Tucson Meet Yourself Reframed. Thank you and have a good day.